Hello, hockey fans, and welcome to NHL Draft Pros.
Shoots, he scores!
On today's video, we're going to take a look at a potential top 10 pick in the 2025 NHL Draft class, Jake O'Brien. He is one of the best playmakers in this draft class, so you're going to want to stick around and see these highlights. And if you want to see scouting reports on some of the other prospects, head over to NHL Draft Pros on YouTube or hit the icon below this video and it'll bring you to the homepage. And hockey fans, please help me grow to 12,000 subscribers. I'd really appreciate it. We're getting close, so hit that subscribe and like button. Thank you very much. All right, Jake O'Brien. Now, look at his date of birth. He's one of the youngest prospects in this draft class, and he's 6'2", 170 pounds, and he's a right shot centerman. In terms of draft rankings, NHL Central Scouting has bumped him up to number 4 for North American skaters. That's very impressive. McKeen's has him at 13, TSM Bob McKenzie 9, Lead Prospects 10, and the Hockey News at 11. Statistically, he had an exceptional season. 98 points in 66 games. And check out the assists. 66 assists in 66 games. So yeah, he is definitely a passer, and you're going to see why in a few minutes. And points per games for the entire CHL, he is 5th on the list at 1.48. So some pretty good company for sure. Okay, and as always, we're going to check out his skating, his shooting, his passing, his puck control, his compete level, and what he needs to improve upon. And the first thing is his skating. Now, I wouldn't consider it a strong part of his game. He does have short little strides, as you can see right here, and he tends to kind of get going with the crossover. So this clip right here exemplifies his skating and how he kind of, but you lose energy and you lose speed when you do those crossovers to build up speed. So he's got to work a little bit on that for sure. But he definitely has improved since last season. So that's a good thing. There's an evolution of his skating. He's just got to get that stride a little bit longer and a little bit stronger too, I think. You know, he's a little slight. It's kind of on the smaller side, but you see like he does those crossovers to get going. Whereas you'd like to see that, just a normal stride. And he doesn't have that separation speed, obviously, because of that. He has to work on his acceleration and his explosiveness. And if he can improve that, keep on improving on that, I guess you could say, then that's going to help him up in the long run. Because that's one thing that he definitely needs to work on right now. And I'll show that later. All right, his shooting. Now, this is another part that he has improved since last season, which is really good. But he's got, check that little bar down blast right there. Yes, O'Brien can wire a puck when he chooses to. Although, like I said, he's more of a passer. So for the most part, teams and goalies are going to look for him to pass off. But, I don't think that last year he would be considered a dual threat. But this year, he has improved that. And there's still the next level that he can reach. But look at these shots. Like, come on. He can wire a puck. Just doesn't shoot enough. He's always looking for the pass, right? He is a creative playmaker. And the thing is, number 1 on his list is dishing it off. And so if that's not available, then he's going to let it go. But you can see how he kind of opens up lanes for himself. And you'll see it actually in this clip right here. He waits and waits and waits until he finds that shooting lane, and then he buries it. So yeah, I think with a little bit more work, a little bit more, well, he's got to get that strength. Like I said, he's still small. He could be a really incredible dual threat. Now, the passing. This is his bread and butter. Check this out. It goes hand in hand with that IQ. Look at that. Look at that. He is a threat as a playmaker. He sees the ice really well. Slows down the play to find those open passing and shooting lanes. So, yeah, he is able to create space effectively. And that leads to high offense playmaking. And look at this. Like, watch this right here. Like, he could have shot there. He could have deked, but no, he dishes that off and his teammate wide open cage. Now, the thing with O'Brien is that when you have a player like Nick Lardis who scored 70 goals, it's going to help your numbers. And the thing with O'Brien too is like he is a PP specialist. The kid on the power play is just unreal. Actually, he had more points on PP than he did 5v5, which is a concern in some cases. But I think that, with a little bit more strength and getting bulkier and being able to kind of fend off defenders. I think he's going to be better 5v5 in the future. It's all about development. Like I said, he's young, born in June. So we got time for O'Brien to develop. Kind of, there are mentions of like a Rob Thomas type player, but Rob Thomas was a really good skater. So, and the hands. Yeah, here we go. Look at the little dipsy doodle here. Kind of got the puck on a string here. And then what does he do? Finds the open passing lane as always. So yeah, you know what? When you got a great stick handler, a great passer, and a great shooter, that is going to be top notch for NHL teams who want a prospect. Look at these hands. Look at those hands. Oh. I love just sitting back and watching these clips here when he starts, dipsy doodling all over the place. But check this out. Through the legs. Yeah, no problem. And then comes in and wires it. All right. Same thing here. You're going to see, the hands. He's got a guy all over him, and he still is able to score the goal 5-hole. So, yeah, O'Brien, he's got the hands too. Great skill, great vision. The other thing, I guess you could probably include it here is that his hockey IQ. Hockey IQ is off the charts. He slows the play down. He sees the ice really well. He knows how to kind of read other players, use that to his advantage. And look, just the patience with the puck, right? That's that creativity, that hockey IQ, slowing the play down. It's unreal. He could be the Beckett Seneca of this draft. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up, close to top 5. But we'll talk about his ranking later. All right, the compete. Now, the compete is decent. I wouldn't say that because he's kind of on slight and small, he's not soft. And he does compete. But he's a little bit weak, and he's good defensively. He's always supporting his defense, I guess. Defensively, he's supportive. So we just gotta get a little bit bulkier, get a little stronger, and his pace is not bad. So yeah, he supports his teammates on a regular basis. Like I said, I mean the compete is actually not too shabby, and here you're gonna see a nice hustle. Like you see the skating, not that great, right? They kind of get away from him, but he got the stick in there, stick lift, turn it the other way. So yeah, definitely some nice details there. All right, what he needs to improve upon. And you can see the first thing here is that he doesn't have that skating, that separation speed, right? Easy catch for the player there. And then same thing in this one here. You're going to see that he kind of gets caught. And that's a Chernyshov that catches him there. And Misa's right there with him too. But he still gets a pass off. See that? And then here, same thing. You're going to see that he tries a little too much dangling. So it's another thing, these top end players, they try too much, got his pocket picked. And then same thing here. Going to try a little too much. And he almost gets destroyed. So a couple of things that he needs to work on for sure. But for the most part, he is a great player. Hockey IQ off the charts. His playmaking might be the best playmaker in this draft class. And he's a power play specialist through and through. If you need a player on the PP who can make things happen, then Jake O'Brien's the player that you want for sure. What he needs to work on, like I said, the skating, he's short strides, still needs to get stronger in the lower bodies, some core strength, all that fun stuff. Turnovers, those high-end players, they try to do a little too much and they end up turning the puck over once in a while. But those are things you can work on. And the strength, like I said, he's still slight, booked in at 170 pounds. I don't even know if he's 170 pounds, to be honest with you. He looks a little bit smaller than that. But once he fills in, watch out. He is going to be a force on the ice. Now, in terms of ranking, I'd say top 10. But don't be surprised. Is this the next Beckett Seneca? Is it going to be a top 5 pick? Potentially. Depends on what a team's looking for. They might have a little project here and say, you know what? The hockey IQ and that skill set is just too high to let him slide. So we'll see what happens come draft day. But that's it for Jake O'Brien of the Brantford Bulldogs. And as always, can you please help the channel grow by hitting that subscribe and like button? I'd really appreciate it. And we'll see you soon. Cheers.